Podcast Amsterdam.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to a brand new show, or a spin-off from the Amsterdam Film Show, where I, Kiko Morah, your host, will chat with professionals from the film industry and rejoice and nag together about the amazing and the frustrating parts of being any kind of filmmaker, while playing some sweet tracks for you from time to time, but not as often as a regular show. So this is a damn director's cut. Today, on our first episode, I have with me, as always, Kathy Leung. Hello, how are you?
Hello, good. Hello, Kiko. Hello, Amsterdam.
Kathy is here to provide an outside perspective and build up the trifecta that this week is completed by my first special guest, Indra van 't Hooft, a Dutch producer, director, geek with a lot of experience in independent filmmaking and killer pink hair. How are you?
I'm fine, thanks. Thanks for having me.
All right. I'm really happy to have you both here. So I brought you today, specifically you, because you are the biggest expert I know in the topic that we'll talk about today, which is the fantastically weird world of the 48-hour film project competitions in general. So for those who don't know what a 48-hour film project is, well, I've only done one, but you, Indra, have done 42 of them. So I think you should be the one who explains what it is.
Short version is that the 48-hour film project is making a short film in, well, as the title says, 48 hours, starting from writing the script until delivering a fully finished, edited, with music, short film at the end of the weekend.
In 48 hours. Everything 48 hours. In 48 hours.
Everything.
It is madness.
Yeah. And you can't really prepare for it, ready-made stuff.
No, not on the creative side, no.
Right.
I mean, there are some things that you can prepare, but you can almost pretty much only prepare for disaster.
I suppose you could pack a lunch, that much.
Exactly. So now that you know what it is, it doesn't matter if you really don't have any experience in filmmaking or if you have plenty of it. It's definitely a challenge for anyone.
Podcast Amsterdam.
So I'm sitting this morning in Amsterdam West with Kathy and Indra, and we're going to talk about the 48-hour film project. So how on earth did you learn about this thing?
It was in 2011. I met a guy at a gig for a band I was following, and he was shooting their music video. And we got to talking, and a week later he called me. He said, "Listen, I need an actress. I have this film competition coming up, and I need an actress. I am not an actress. Let's get it out of the way. Really not an actress." And he asked me to come and join, and that's how I learned about the 48-hour film project.
So that was your first 48-hour film project?
That was the very first one.
As an actor?
Yeah, front of the camera.
Yes. Let's not speak of this.
And did you get hooked, like, right away?
Well, there was a little door in my soul that opened up and said, "Oh my gosh, filmmaking. Hello, where have you been?"
So you didn't have any experience with filmmaking before that?
No, not at all. No, I loved watching films, and my dad, he used to shoot little 8mm stop-motion science fiction movies in our attic.
That is so cool.
It was the coolest thing. But no, not making them myself, just watching them and loving it, and have a special kind of love for how finding out how things are made.
All right. So which one was your first 48-hour then?
The one that I produced, or
Yeah, exactly. Like your own.
That was 2 years after that, with a friend of mine, and it was called Buried Love, and we thought we were the absolute world, and we had great fun, and I still keep in touch with a lot of the people that I met there. Learned a whole lot. That was the very first one.
Yeah, but there's nothing like a 48-hour film project to bring you back down to earth. Right? Like, if you think that you're awesome, do a 48-hour film project, and you will fuck up.
You will. At some point, you will. Yeah.
So one thing I wanted to ask you is, like, why so many 48-hour film projects, and why not other film competitions or any other just film for the sake of making a film?
Well, at first, I didn't have any schooling or didn't go to film school or any education. So the 48-hour film project has been my film school.
Wonderful.
Everything I learned, everything I know, everyone I know, my entire network, my entire little place in the filmmaking industry comes from doing 48 hours.
That's interesting. Because then there's also like 2 spin-offs from this, right? Like a 72-hour film project, I think, and 1 week.
Yeah, but they have nothing to do with the 48-hour film project. Nothing. They're completely separate competitions.
Oh, that's a bit naughty then, I think. Because I suppose the original organisation will be like, hang on a minute, because this is a global brand, isn't it?
Yeah.
With going on across the country. How many are there going on in the Netherlands? And you don't just do, because you don't live in Amsterdam. Where do you live again?
I live in Arnhem.
Arnhem. Do you tend to do the ones local to you, or you do all over the country?
I tend to do all of the ones all over the country. Yeah.
Wow, cool.
But there's all over the world. I mean, there's like 130 cities all over the world that do them. So almost every weekend of every year, there's a 48 hours somewhere going on.
That is insane.
It's fantastic.
So the 1 week project is also not related to the 48?
No.
Neither? No. Ah, okay.
No. And the original concept is the 2 days. I think if you lengthen it, it just doesn't become the same. The idea is it's like a speed dating type of, or speed making project. If you make it longer, then well, I might as well do a year filmmaking project. And it's like, oh well, that's the same as normal.
I think I think it's kind of silly, specifically switching from 48 hour to 72 hour. I think giving 1 more day for shooting and everything is just going to make everything more complicated. Because what I loved about, I've only done 1, and what I loved about my experience is that you have to keep it short. You have to keep it simple. Mm-hmm. And if you add 1 more day, then you think that you can make a lot more other things.
Exactly.
Whereas 1 week, maybe from 48 hours to 1 week, then there is a solid difference to make something better because you have more time. But a 72 hours is like, you have 50 calories, I have 49. It's like the same fucking thing.
Yeah. I'm interested in your back because you're culturally Dutch and everything. Mm-hmm. How does it work? Because I imagine decision making has to be bam, bam, bam in 48 hours. And obviously, I've heard a lot about the Dutch polder model, and everyone likes to discuss things and decide things together. I see that a lot, and it's like surely that's impossible. And does that go against your Dutch nature of getting the consensus?
Wow. Well. Okay. Well, no, I think one of the most important things in having a successful 48-hour is hierarchy. So everybody needs to be responsible for their own thing, and someone needs to has to be responsible to make the decisions. Like, for instance, on the Friday, when you come back from the kickoff ceremony, where you get the elements that you have to put in your script, like the line, the prop, and the character. And the genre that you pull out of a...
Yeah, exactly. We'll get to that a little bit later.
Yeah, then everybody wants to pitch in because everybody has ideas. And let's do this, and we can do this. And we can. If you're the director and or writer, then you should really filter all them things out. Perhaps, take a few that you like. But ultimately say, okay, guys, I'm the writer, I'm the director. This is my decision. Thank you for... Because if you brainstorm or something, my experience, I don't know how about other teams, but my experience is it'll only take longer, and you can't really satisfy everyone, and you can't use everybody's ideas. So if you use one idea from someone and you don't use the other one, then the other person might feel upset or ignored or whatever. So hierarchy is key.
Yes, so you cannot be too democratic at some stage, basically. No. Yeah, especially the director and the writer and those. Good.
Because you've done many as a producer, many as a director as well, right?
Yes.
And have you written most of them, or...?
No, because I'm a terrible writer.
All right, fair enough.
I've done a few. I've written a few just because I love doing it, but they're not necessarily the best ones. No.
So how many attempts as a producer or director, which is like head of department, how many attempts took you to win your first competition?
Yeah, I won 1 out of 42, which is not a brilliant track record, to be honest. I think, I think it was 26, 20, I don't know. I don't know.
That you actually won, like, the big prize?
Before we won, yeah. And then we won with a really great film and a really great 6-people crew. Yeah, it was great. It was in Nijmegen 2017.
All right. And was that a best film?
Yes, that was best film and basically best. We won, so it was crazy. We want just about everything there.
Did you feel it coming? Did you think this is going to be the year?
No, not at all. No, because usually when the director, one of the directors, Tom Castricum, usually we went all out. You know, we go big and we get big locations. And this time we was like, nah, let's just go to your house and just do something silly and we'll see. And when we got the elements and we had the script and we thought, okay, this is going to be like a mockumentary comedy kind of thing, and we are the only ones who are going to think this is funny. And I've never laughed so much on set ever, and ever since, because it was brilliant. But we didn't think anyone would like it, and then the cinema just exploded, and then everything just exploded, and we took the film to the World Finals, which was in Paris the year after. We took it to the Cannes Film Festival, where it was screened. And the Dutch press picked up on it. It was nuts. It was absolutely
I think
nuts.
there's a big lesson to take from this, because I've always thought, as a filmmaker in general, but specifically in a 48-hour film project, it's take the project seriously, but don't take yourself too seriously.
Absolutely.
Have fun, because if you take yourself too seriously, and then your work is gonna come across as maybe, what's the word I'm looking for?
Pretentious?
Yes, pretentious. for the lack of a better, naughtier word.
Yes.
And
So,
this winning film, just for people listening, they're curious then, is it still out there for people who can see online or something?
I think it's online. Yeah, it's Dutch title. It's called Huisje, Boompje, Beestje. And
what does that mean?
It's literally house, tree, animal. It's like a Dutch phrase when you just have everything. You have the perfect life.
Okay.
Basically, and it's about a gay couple who adopt a refugee but treat him like a puppy.
oh my God, so it's like a dark comedy.
It's very dark.
All right.
But we thought it was absolutely hilarious.
It sounds like my kind of comedy.
You would love it, yeah.
How's je boompje beestje?
Very good.
Als je boontje beestje.
Bumpje with a P.
Bumpje.
Yeah, there you go.
Bumpje. Ja. Ja, ik spreek een beetje Nederlands, maar Engels nu. So I do have another question. Do you think that this should be, because you started as an amateur, obviously, but then you started growing and growing and growing, and you've become like a really a producer that is known, at least in the 48-hour film world, that gets shit done. You know, and well, that's why we're working together now. But do you think that it should be a strictly amateur competition? Because I've seen professionals participating, which I think it's okay, but they have gigantic budgets. They have like a team of writers. And so is that wrong? Do you consider that cheating? Should they have a different category maybe?
Ooh, Indra.
Tough one, because I've had this conversation with many people, including some of the city producers. Well, the thing is, I think one of the wonders of the 48 Hour is that it's for everyone, literally for everyone.
Yeah, that's true.
And I don't think having a big budget and 20 writers make for a good film. Because like I made with fantastically, brilliantly talented people, really fantastic films for like €300 and a box of apples. You know, it's just... It doesn't necessarily mean success, especially in the 48 Hour, because if one thing goes wrong, it's like a domino effect. Then everything tumbles.
It's true, yeah.
So in your experience in the 43 or so 48-hour film projects that you've done, the producers that you've seen with the big budgets are not necessarily winning the competitions.
No.
Yeah. What do you think does tend to... is there a type of film that tends to win?
I think it depends on the country, really.
It depends on the country, but and speaking for the Netherlands, it depends on the judges, because it's a judging sport, right?
Yeah, we're going to talk about the judging a little bit ahead. Let's not get ahead of ourselves, but I do want to touch that because I do have a bone to pick right there. Yeah.
You're telling me.
Okay, so I've never made one. Well, I have in fact, but just one which ultimately led to meeting you, and boom, here we are. But hey, okay, so Kathy has never made one. So let's break it down section by section as she prepares for her first hypothetical competition.
Broadcast Amsterdam.
Kathy has managed to get some of her crew. She's managed to collect a few €100, and they're ready. Okay, you're ready?
Yeah.
So statistically, what is the first mistake that she's going to do?
think about the idea for the script too long on the Friday night.
Right. Because, you're right. I think the trick here is simplifying.
Yes.
You can indeed prepare for some things, like overcast. Like if confirm 5 actors, but tell them that you might only use 2 or 3. Have 2 or 3 possible locations, because it depends on the genre that you're going to get. And write in pairs. Like too many writers is a recipe for disaster, as you said. So then, okay, you're ready. Let's go to the kickoff ceremony. What is the kickoff ceremony, Indra?
Oh, right. The kickoff is, literally the kickoff for the weekend. So the city producer or city producers, depending on the city, give out the elements that everybody has to use. So in every 48 hour ever, there's 3 elements. So there's a prop. So there's a certain object that you have to put in your script. Could be any inanimate object. We had like suitcases, passports, elastic bands, lighters, name it. We've had it. An egg several times.
Yeah, we had a drawing when I did it. It was a drawing. Yeah.
Yeah, you had to use a drawing, and they get more creative. In the last few years, thank goodness. Then you have a line of dialogue, which can be anything. There was no plan B. To need my favorite one ever is the weirdest one ever is to pick an apple. You need a tree. I don't know who came up with that, but it's brilliant. And you have the character. So there's a name for a character, and the character usually has a profession that you have to put in the film. And you pull the genre out of a hi-hat or a wooden shoe or whatever they have handy.
Does everyone get the same genre?
No.
Oh.
That's the trick, because every film does have the same prop, same line, same actor. Well, the character, Mm-hmm. But the genre is different. So some people are going to get comedy, some people are going to get drama, some people are going to get musical. And but you get two genres to choose from, right?
That's only the last few years. Back in the day, you would just pull one, and if you didn't like it, you could get a wild card. But the wild card genres were extremely hard, really, really difficult. So no one really wanted to do that. But now you draw one ticket with 2 genres on it, and then you can pick either one or combine them even.
Yeah, because I remember I got environmental film or something like that. I don't know. It was like, what the fuck is this? Like, I'm not gonna do this.
Campaign.
But we got drama, and I remember that what I did that I thought it was a good idea is I sent my producer to the kickoff ceremony because he was in Utrecht and I live in Amsterdam.
Yeah.
So I was in my apartment with my co-writer Tayen.
Yeah,
Shout out.
yeah.
And Niels, as soon as he took out the genre, he texted me the genre.
Yes.
So I didn't have to wait to come back from Utrecht all the way to Amsterdam to start writing.
That's the beauty of mobile phones, Kiko.
Exactly. So I had a bunch of coffee ready, some homemade beer, some homemade pizza, and I was already talking to Tayen for previous weeks about different possible scenarios, And since we got drama, we were like, perfect, because kind of like the idea that we wanted to go for was a kind of a dramatic sci-fi.
And okay, so this is all happening on a Friday night.
Friday night.
Roughly what time is that kickoff ceremony?
7.
Oh, 7, yeah.
It starts at 6, but the official kickoff time for the weekend, for the 48 hours, is 7 o'clock. So at 7 o'clock, everybody races out of the cinema or wherever it's been held and just goes absolutely nuts over.
But then Niels was just walking slowly because the writers were already working,
He's just, he's the producer, and his role was done to go to the kick. Well, for a little bit. But typically then, do you spend the Friday night writing the script? Do you do any shooting on the Friday night?
Rarely.
Yeah.
Rarely.
I mean, it's
I have done, but it's very rare.
Yeah. And do you write through the night, or do you think, no, like you've done it by
Yeah, no. I think you do have to set yourself a limit, because otherwise you're not going to sleep.
Yeah.
And but I remember that we went to bed at 4 a.m. and we had to wake up at 6. So I slept 2 hours, and then the next day I just survived on coffee and Coffee.
But you shouldn't have to, I imagine. So if you've got all the stuff you need to by 7 and like it's a short film,
Yes.
you should only need to spend a couple of hours on
Oh.
it. Get a nice, good
No. No, that
Trust
doesn't
me,
work that
because
way.
you have to adapt, like whatever idea was already like floating around your head.
Yeah.
You have to adapt the prop. You have to make a good use of the prop because that's also an award, like best use of the prop, best use of the line, and best use of character.
Yes.
And it has to make sense. Also, the dialogue. Sometimes the dialogue is shit. Like for me, it was there's no plan B. Like, sorry,
quite liked it.
but
I quite
nobody says that in real life.
No, but that's the whole key. They the whole point. They try to come up with sentences that are quite tough to
Exactly.
to put in there, which
Like,
makes it
oh,
fun.
sorry, my mom is calling. That would be a fun one, you know. Like, and I don't know. I think the writing is it was really fun, but I do recommend it doing it with one other person, so to have someone to bounce ideas with. And well, for us, like you can do it in any language you want, but for us, we did it in Dutch because I wanted to be my first film that I directed that was going to be completely in Dutch.
Yeah, so must taking you extra long.
Well, no, because we wrote it in English and Tayenne is Dutch, so she just like adapted the dialogues that we wrote together into. Yeah. She came up with with most of the story. I came up with most of the dialogues. And I don't know. I think like having a good creative relationship with your writer is super important for this, because also you can really put a rope around your neck if you start writing too complicated stuff. Like, oh yeah, and then a UFO appears and then some aliens come out. Like, how the hell are you going to shoot that?
On language, like if you did a Dutch language film, do you have to subtitle it in English? Or if you did an English film, do you have to subtitle it in Dutch?
Neither, I think.
Neither. But if you go for like French or whatever, then yeah.
Okay.
But neither Dutch or English need to be subtitled
Oh,
in the
that's
weekend.
good.
It's
Yeah.
always clever to do it afterwards, obviously, but
Yeah.
not in the weekend. No.
Good one.
All right, so well, you're finished writing and you're ready to shoot. So
On 2 hours sleep.
on a 2 hour
If that-
sleep,
if that.
yeah, you have to be insane in the brain.
Broadcast Amsterdam.
So, okay, so you finished writing your script. Kathy, you're ready to shoot. It's 4 a.m. You have to wake up at 6. It's not longer in your... No, wait, I'm getting ahead of myself. You land your script, you send it to your crew, and you go to sleep for about 2-3 hours. But hey, you get up at 5 to go filming, and that, my friends, is the best feeling ever. Now, Indra, how chaotic is a 48-hour shoot compared to a regular shoot?
Doesn't differ that much. I mean, filmmaking, shooting is always chaotic and stressful, and it's just an added pressure of the time, and you did not get the time to rehearse anything. So
Yes.
it's a lot of on the spot.
Decision making.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree, and I think that's my favorite part of this creative madness is the on the spot decision making. I think it's very important to definitely send your script, even if it's 4 a.m. Send your script to the rest of your crew, so when they wake up, they already have it.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like while you're writing, have your producer like be preparing everything, confirming the cars, confirming the call sheet, confirming everything, so everybody the next day knows what to do.
If like you've never done a film before, for some of the things like the call sheet or stuff like that, does the 48-hour film project give you like templates and stuff?
Yes, they do.
Oh, good one.
You can download a template from the 48-hour official website.
Yeah.
And but I think the most important, and if you're a first-time director or everything, it's to surround yourself with people that you trust, and then you know that they will do what they have to do without you having to be overlooking everything.
That was going to be one of my questions, because I'm like, Indra, what happens if you've got a team and, you know, some people are just not like pulling their weight, or they're not as good as you thought they would be, or like, you know, actors who are shit at delivering their lines. How much do you kind of say to them, you got to do it again, or whatever, or that's not good enough, or do you just suck it up because you've only got 48 hours?
It's tough because It all depends on. I mean, usually, personally, I pick people that I worked with before because I trust them and I know, we got each other's back. But for an actor, I mean, some actors just need more time to get the script down or get in role or in character, and you just don't have the time. So you can't always blame them. So I try to work with really good actors who have a lot of experience doing 48 hours. Because that helps.
Yeah, because the stress is palpable on set. Like, everybody's having fun. Because everybody, like, and that's an important part of it. Like, everybody, like, the rules say that everybody must be a volunteer.
I thought you was going to say, the rules say that everybody must have fun.
Yeah, if you don't have fun, then fuck off.
All right, everyone must be a volunteer. Okay,
but I mean, there are so many things that can happen. Weather will fuck you up sometimes. Something that you wrote, it's not working while you're shooting, and if it's not working, stop. Move on. Try something else because time is running out. You essentially, I would suggest just shoot on Saturday, and start editing Saturday night if you can.
Saturday afternoon.
So because Sunday at 7, Sunday before 7, you have to deliver the film.
Yeah, so the Sunday is generally spent editing then.
Yeah.
Oh, that's very
Usually.
clear definition then. Yeah. I'd be tempted to shoot on Sunday as well, but then you're right. You've got to watch the footage and edit it. That takes just as much time. But
Yeah.
in my novice head, I kind of think,
I mean, if you have to do some inserts,
okay,
and you're editing at the same place as you're shooting, then okay, be my guest.
yeah.
But I would suggest, like, keep it simple. Shoot on Saturday. Shoot indoors if you're worried about the weather. Indoors, you have more control of light. And maybe edit at the same place as you're shooting, so you don't have to transport yourself. And usually, what I did is I was having an editor on site who was, like, putting together a rough cut while we were shooting.
Yes.
So we were, like, checking if the shots cut together properly, because sometimes you're gonna just, like, jump the axis and stuff like that I saw in film school, and I still fuck up.
Wait a minute though, because I'm going back to your advice to say shoot inside, and I have seen your entry from the last one, and you shot that almost entirely outside.
Well, I like
That was a
to,
risk.
I like to put everybody,
edge.
I like to live on the edge, because it was not in my language. It was a really weird time loop, kind of complicated script. Outside. So yeah, I mean, but it went well. Like, I think when you find a crew that works, like, everything just flows.
Yeah. And if you
Flows.
I guess you check the weather forecast and you were dead cert. It'll be all right.
Yeah, but I mean, weather forecasts are about as predictable as the wind. No pun intended here. So
Yeah, 'cause
it's difficult. It's difficult.
Especially in the Netherlands, because there are no freaking mountains anywhere.
We have a few hills. Come on.
It's man-made.
Well, I don't know. Anyway, no, I think for the definition of the days, write on the Friday, shoot on the Saturday, edit on the Sunday, the Saturday and Sunday has to overlap somewhat. Like Kiko said, have your editor start already. Send the script to your composer so he can, rustle up some music. Mm-hmm. Have the grader look at some pictures and set a certain style. All that kind of stuff you can do. Yeah.
And practically speaking, things changed a lot. Like, I can imagine people cycling over with SD cards and things like that. Are you sending it online, or does it have to be physically sent in disc format because they're large files or not?
Oh, but you mean, like, to deliver the film at the end? No, you have to bring it physical to. Yeah. So you have to drive to Utrecht in this case,
yes.
and then deliver it before 7. So that means that you have to either take a train or drive, and that takes like an hour. So everything has to be in consideration. What I did is I finished a rough cut, like a first cut, Saturday night. I sent that to my composer, who was already working in some music, and by the next morning, he had already synced it with what I did. So on Sunday, what we did is, like, basically, like, finish it up, send it back to the composer so he can adjust one last time the music, and then that was it. Composer was my brother-in-law, Biden van Eerden, great music producer. And but yeah, okay, so now you go and you deliver your film. You're done. It's not longer in your hands. You sit, you have a beer, and you talk to other exhausted filmmakers and toast to each other's mistakes, struggles, and insane stories. Who judges these things?
Well, the city producers, the city producers are the people that arrange the 48-hour film projects for every city. And big shout out to all the guys and girls, because they do amazing jobs. And it wouldn't, if we didn't have them, we wouldn't have the 48-hour. So special people. Anyway, so they rustle up some judges. They're usually people from the filmmaking industry, or sometimes from the
notifications,
sound design,
precise.
Sometimes people from the cinema where the screenings are being held, or previous winners, directors, writers, actors, you name it. As long as they have something to do with film and are eligible, tough word, to judge other people's work.
How many of them?
3 usually.
Oh, 3. That's a nice
But
number.
it's weird because I think every city is different. I have seen films that have won in previous editions, and I consider that you can have bad judges. You can have biased judges with preference for a genre over other things. And I say this as a genre filmmaker myself. I'm gonna complain and rant. And yes, it's just a childish rant, but I think that the Netherlands doesn't support genre film. But genre film, I mean sci-fi, I mean horror, I mean fantasy. I think they have this concept of art house film, and I'm using air quotes at this moment, because for me, every film is art. The film, by definition, is a collective art. So calling it art house film, just call it pretentious film opinion, because a portrait of a lady on fire is a drama. It's a beautiful drama. It's a beautiful French drama, but the Dutch are calling it art house film. I don't consider it art house film. I just consider it a film. It's a beautiful drama film about 2 women and their really passionate relationship or whatever. I haven't seen it, but my wife did, and she told me basically what it's about. But The Lighthouse, okay. The problem here is that for filmmakers like us, that we discovered that horror, sci-fi can also tell a story. It's not just ha! It's not just scaring you. It's just not just cutting arms. Look at Pan's Labyrinth. Look at The Babadook. Have you seen The Babadook?
I don't watch
It's an Australian horror movie that it's mostly about a woman dealing with the grief that she lost her husband on the day that she gave birth to her son. So her relationship with her son is really delicate, and there's a monster and whatever, blah, blah, blah. But the core of this is grief. Same as Hereditary, same as Midsommar. They all have so I sometimes think, especially in the Utrecht one, not because I didn't win. I think that there were better films than mine, for sure. And but I do remember vividly that the movie that won, when I saw it for the first time, I was like, wow, this movie is shit. Mm-hmm. But since it was about really, really woke to 2019 themes, I was I felt like that's the reason it won.
I suppose, with 3 judges, that's quite restrictive. It's not very broad. Depends very much on who those 3 judges are, because that's it. That's only down to them. There is no audience award or consensus.
There is, okay. And I think in audience award, that's when genre films often shine. But it's hard for I think the only people that are doing a great job with that is the Imagine Film Festival in Amsterdam. Yes. Shout out to Chris, the organizer. That they're doing a fantastic job trying to make people understand that genre film is also art.
Yes. I think the only kind of horror film I've seen in Dutch are really B movies that are embracing
Sint.
Yeah, like Sint, like the one Prooi or whatever about the lion that was loose in Vondel Park. It's so cheesy. They are maxing it out, but not really putting much thought into making it good or quality.
Kiko's really right. I mean, the way the Netherlands looks at genre films can be projected into how 48 Hour works on genre films. Exceptions are there. I mean, 2 years ago we made, together with 2 of my best friends, the fantastic Nissa Eimers and Kelly Meijer, we made a horror musical. So we drew
That's awesome.
we drew the genre with horror and or musical, and Nissa and I looked at each other and were like, okay, let's do both. Why not? We both love musicals. But we had so much luck of having all the right people in the right places, and we came in fourth or fifth in the Rotterdam version, which is known as the biggest one with the most teams and the highest quality of films in the country.
Oh, that's what.
So there are exceptions. But after that, the film won't go anywhere because it's the Netherlands and people don't dig that kind of stuff. So it's cheaty.
But we're here to change that.
Check it out.
Yes. Yeah.
Let's introduce horror. Kiko's here, the horror director. He's going to introduce the Netherlands to quality horror.
Hopefully.
Let's see.
We'll see. I have one last question for you because we're running out of time. I have many questions, but we'll have to finish it here. But why do you keep doing this to yourself?
Because I owe everything. I owe everything to the 48-hour film project. Everything I am, everything I was, everything I will be started with 48-hour, and it's just addictive as fuck. And it's fun. It's just so much fun.
It's super fun.
And the community spirit all around the world. I mean, in March, we're going to have the World Finals here in Rotterdam. For the very first time, the World Finals are going to be in Rotterdam.
Damn, I'm going to be in Mexico.
It's going to be amazing. Hans Groenendijk, Jasper Joosten, shout out, guys. They're organizing the most amazing festival for everybody all around the world, all the filmmakers, and I can't wait to see everyone, and it's going to be amazing.
So you're in for the long run.
Oh, yeah.
Good, because we're doing our first one together in May. And because we're using this as a team building exercise for the crew of my next film, Plug, which Indra here is producing along with Niels Hakansson. Like, shout out again. It's a co-production between your production company, Heads Up Productions, and The Tough Crowd, which is like this team that emerged from our first 48-hour film that I did here. So it's a pretty cool science fiction story that has finally found the right crew. I don't want to spoil anything else, but we'll let you know how everything goes. Guys, to close today's show, sadly, I wish we had half an hour more to talk, maybe another hour, but I have a wedding today. So to close today's show, I just want to recommend everyone to do this as a creative exercise. It doesn't matter who you are and how much experience. This competition puts your mind to the test with the highest of stress levels. It's incredible sometimes how creative and impressive some of these films are, really. So if you're a complete amateur, just dive in, go for it. It won't be great, but you will only get better. That's the thing. Just keep doing it. If you're a production company with resources and money, don't be a dick and limit yourself. Like, play fair. Play by the rules. So I think this is pretty much all from me now. I hope you enjoyed this little rant. And please tell me if you agree or disagree with me on anything on Twitter at Kiko Morah with H at the end. Kathy?
Yeah, I'm at Kathy Central. I don't. Yeah, if you want to be part of my 48-hour film project, or let's do it at some stage, get in touch with me. Who knows? I've been inspired. Thanks, Indra, for coming on.
My pleasure.
How can we find you on social media?
Instagram at IndraVTH. I'm on Facebook, and my website headsupproductions.nl.
All right, so guys, gather your friends.
Don't forget to visit broadcastamsterdam.nl for a blog post on this. If you want to see links and stuff. We'll put that on. We're on weekly on Thursday.
Yeah. So next week we're gonna go back. So thank you to my co-host and brain behind Broadcast Amsterdam, Kathy. Thanks for the space to talk about filmmaking. Indra, I'll see you on Monday since we have a production meeting.
We do.
To everyone else, yeah. We have a sweet day, week, month, and thanks for listening. Tune in next week to catch up with good old Amsterdam Film Show, to talk reviews and new releases. We're gonna talk about The Lodge. We're gonna talk about The Lighthouse. Many good films are coming. Parasite is coming back to cinemas in black and white.
Oh,
yeah.
And if you miss any of these live shows, we're always online to listen on demand on broadcastamsterdam.nl. Yeah.
Spotify, wherever you find your podcasts. And, well, that's it.
Broadcast Amsterdam.